Hi, I'm George Boiselle from the Boiselle Insurance Partnership. I'm outside today to show you how to turn off your hose bibs and winterize them for the winter. Drain the water from them so that they can't freeze and cause damage to your house. The damage that's caused generally occurs in the spring when the pipes thaw out. If they've had water in them and frozen, you find out when you go to as soon as the freezing is over, you'll notice small dripping or sometimes some really fast flowing water inside. Often it comes through walls and finished areas. It's really ugly and it's expensive, and we want you not to have to endure that problem. So we're going to go downstairs and we're going to shut the water off inside the house, and then we're going to come back out here and we're going to open this so that the water drains out of the hose bib. There are a couple of other extra steps, and we'll show you those as we go along. All right, we're in the basement of the home now, and I've located the shut-off valves for the hose bibs. They're often near most of the other equipment. This is the hot water heater and so forth. And sometimes in the older homes, they're located in the walls very close to where the hose bib exits the house. So you have to find them. And there are a couple of different kinds. There's a type that it turns, it's a handle that turns, it's a round handle that turns. Some of them have bigger handles that are parallel when they're on to the flow of water and perpendicular to the flow of water when they're off. This particular type has, this house has 4 different hose bibs, and if you come in here to take a look, it's just a simple little butterfly valve. Right now they're on. Their butterfly valve is parallel to the pipe. That means that the little plate inside is providing no resistance. To turn it off, and sometimes it takes a little work, I'm going to turn the valve, it'll only go one way, so that it now is perpendicular. Try both way, here we go. First way didn't work. I'm not applying too much pressure, I don't want to break it. But now it's off. It's perpendicular to the flow of water. So I have turned the water off to the hose bib. I think that's the hose bib that I was standing next to. I'm going to double check. They probably have a little tag on it like this one, or in this case the plumbing group has written on the pipe itself. Sometimes it's done, well, they'll actually print. I'm looking for it here, I don't see it, so the tag will let me know which one goes where. You're going to shut them all off. You don't want any of these things open during the winter. So we're going to shut them all off now, and then we're going to go outside and we're going to make certain that that hose bib is open. Once we've done that, I'm going to come back inside to do one more thing, because most of these shut-off valves have little bleeder valves. You can get them really close. Right here, you'll notice a little knob. And once I've opened the water, we've drained quite a bit out, I can come back in here and loosen this. It'll allow air to come up in the pipe. 2 things will happen. It'll allow more water to go out the hose bib, and it'll allow water to come actually back into this area and drain this pipe. That's preferable to leaving water in the pipe in any place. So let's go back outside now. Okay, we're back outside, and when we left, this was on, obviously. We're turning it, it was off, we're turning it on, and you notice some water comes out. Now there's not a lot of water coming out because it's a vacuum. There's no way for it to come out. There's no way for air to come in the back side of this. But I've turned it on, and it will allow water to leak out. What you really want to do is to clear all the water from this spot several feet back into the house. There's a thing called an anti-siphon valve at the top, and I usually loosen that as well. It allows a little bit more air to enter the system. Now we're going to leave this open all winter long. If for some reason there was a slight, you didn't turn that valve off quite as hard as you could, it would allow the water space to go and prevent freezing. We've taken the hoses off. I didn't mention that before, but you don't want anything to interfere with the water leaving here. You want to drain the water from your hoses, and if you can, store those hoses inside. They'll last a lot longer. So we've drained the water hose, we've got it kind of tied up. We're going to move that in a little bit, And this is the way it's going to be all winter long. Now we'll go back inside and look at that bleeder valve that I mentioned. All right, we're back in the basement of the home. We've opened the hose bib outside. There's no water coming out because we've shut it off down here. But now we want to drain the water out of that pipe. Most homes will have a situation where very close to or attached to the shutoff valve, there will be a little knob, and that's called a bleeder valve. And it's if you turn it to the right, it's closed. Most of the time it's closed because when you open it, it allows air to come out of the pipe. And of course, if this were on, water would squirt out all over the place. It's off, water will not squirt. But this particular valve is 50 feet from where the hose bib is, and the pipe is still full of water even though this has been shut off. We're going to drain that out. And this particular one is up, the pipe is up and down, and as you can see, where's the water going to go? I've come up with a little trick that's helpful, and if you have this situation, so you don't make too big of a mess. Oftentimes the valve will be high, and you can just put a bucket underneath it, and when you open the bleeder valve, it'll just drip into the bucket. But in this case, it'll drip down the pipe probably, and it's an essential thing to do, so I would do it even though it's a little messy. So what I'm going to do now, if you can come in a little closer, is I'm going to position, I have a little pitcher here, and what I've done is I've taken a towel or a little washcloth. When this is open, water's going to spew out a bit, and I'm going to try and wrap this around and let the water run down this little rag and into the into the bucket. So here we go. This is often, may need a pair of pliers. This particular one is made of PVC or plastic. You don't want to force anything. You can get it open. You just want to be a little gentle. If you can see, everything moves. It's a little spooky, but it needs to be done, and it will hold up. So I'm going to turn this. It's turning slowly. And like I said, I don't want to rush it. I'll know when it's open when I get some water coming out. There comes the water. Yeah. There it comes. It's draining that pipe now, and I'm just going to let it go until it's finished. See it hitting the cloth and going into this pitcher. And that's all the water that's just been sitting in the pipe between this spot and the hose bib. I could probably stop it now if I wanted to. There it goes, it's finishing. All right, that's how much water was in there. Now I'm taking this off. I'm gonna take this little knob and I'm gonna screw it back in. All right. Now that pipe has no water in it anywhere. There's no chance it'll freeze. There's nothing to freeze. It's open on the way out. Now there's one other suggestion I'm going to try and make to everyone. It doesn't matter how tight this is right now, but I'm going to tighten it up. Anyway, I have a little pair of pliers, and I'm going to tighten it, but not too hard. Now, and here's the reason. When the spring comes and you turn this back on because you need water, you're not going to remember what you did. You may or you may not. So if that's a little open, you'll turn it on and it can leak through there. So I've tightened it up. The other thing, when you turn the water back on in the spring, I would always remember to go out before you turn any water on and shut off all of the bibs that you're about to turn on. Here's why. You'll turn them on, you get distracted, and the water will just be running outside. And that's not a good thing. You don't want, and it could run for a day and you might not notice it. So go outside, reverse the process. Before you turn this on, shut all your hose bibs, including the anti-siphon thing. Twist everything back the way it was so that it's shut, nothing can come out. And then come back in here, turn on your water, and you're good for the spring, the summer, and the fall.
Hello everyone, I'm Brett Boisel with Boisel Insurance Partnership. Hopefully you all found the previous video helpful with how to winterize your hose bibs. A couple other final items I wanted to touch upon. If you have pipes that are close to the exterior of your house they are more susceptible to freezing just due to their close proximity to the outside. So a few things you can do. You can keep your cabinet doors open. That'll allow the warm air from the home to circulate. I also recommend keeping a slight drip in the faucet. That water pressure, again, will help prevent any water in the pipe from freezing. And then one final tip, you can go to your local hardware store and pick up some piping insulation. You can wrap the pipes with that. That'll decrease the likelihood of those pipes freezing. If you're not comfortable with any of these steps, you can always contact your local plumber and they'll be happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching.